As Apple have unveiled their new operating system for mobile phones, one of the interesting new tidbits is that they're actually allowing you to install ad blocking technology, which has caused a huge ruckus in the world of, unsurprisingly, advertisers. But to debate that, we have our panel this week. Claire Connelly is a freelance technology reporter and Seamus Byrne is the editor of the technology website CNet. When this was announced, what happened next, Seamus Byrne?
So yeah, with the new update, we've seen a huge number of ad blocking apps basically hit the iTunes App Store, and some of them have hit like #1 on the paid app charts, which in itself is interesting. The idea that, you know, you have to pay for the service that lets you block the things that stop other people getting paid for serving you content. I'm sure we'll get into that. Yeah. But it's been a huge hit on the App Store so far. People seeing that there are these benefits of various kinds in installing one of these blockers so that your browser just kind of gets rid of the ads.
Is it actually proven that ads do slow down your mobile experience?
I guess the trick is it's not the ads themselves, it's the wealth of tags that live around the advertising systems, because on any major website, the ad isn't being served by the website that is loading the content. Instead, it's run through these kind of specialist ad networks. These aren't the sort of just generic, it'll pull an ad from anywhere type things, but just major publishers use services that run the ads efficiently, that then also has to track the ad so that advertisers know if somebody saw it or not. There's like all these kinds of tracking systems attached to it. And then included with that are also certain kinds of tags that track your movement across different sites so that advertisers can also start to build different kinds of profiles. And like that's the thing that also people are kind of more worried about. It's that the privacy and the tracking are the things that people are really upset about, rather than necessarily the ad itself. As
a consumer, is this something you would use?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. As somebody that gets paid by a publisher, though, because you write for countless, Fairfax and 1,001 other services, how do you think they feel about this?
I think there's been a lot of outrage in the media sphere about ad blockers, and it's worth adding banner ads only have a click-through rate of 0.04%. What this is really about is blocking Google's ability to serve B-roll ads on YouTube, presumably so that Apple could launch its own similar service and kind of cut away at some of that market share. As a consumer, I think it's great. As a journalist, I think it's even better, and here's why. It's actually forcing the advertising market and the media market to come up with a different form of advertising. Now, the thing that consumers need to decide is how ubiquitous do you want your advertising and marketing to be? Do you want it to look like an ad, or do you want it to go into the field of native where content and journalism and advertising start to look eerily similar to each other? I don't think that all of this should be put at Apple's doorstep. Advertising on web needs a major overhaul. It doesn't work particularly well outside of video.
Of course, this whole ad blocking idea, it does only really hurt the publisher because, of course, the ad buyer never pays for the ad if it was never loaded into the page. And so it is that thing of, well, the ad companies they'll keep the money to spend wherever it's not being blocked.
It's worth adding that not all of these ad blockers block everything wholesale. AdBlock Plus, for example, blocks the things that are most visually intrusive. So it's requiring advertisers to become more creative and more original with how they deliver advertising. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that.
Apple has joined this kind of space and instantly it goes a lot more mainstream. And that's where suddenly people become just aware that it exists. You know, these are in the top 10 charts on the App Store.
Yeah.
And that essentially means people are like, oh, what is that thing? Oh, I can do this. And then in every other aspect, it might be more Android users notice that they exist now, more desktop users notice they exist. And there could be a big snowball here for ads disappearing.
While it is a big deal, I don't think it's as devastating to either the media industry or to advertising as people are making out. Advertisers and big media do not like change, and they've been dependent upon this model for 10, 15 years now, and it hasn't been working that well anyway. So
they've all been trying to make paywalls work, but no one's willing to pay. And this is the one area that I have a problem here, is this is a very blunt instrument idea that there are plenty of really nice, very simple advertising networks that do try to stay out of people's way, and they're being caught up in this as well. So this is the all or nothing kind of approach. I wish some of these services would start with a blacklist system instead of a whitelist system. That's the idea.
But you can't monetize a blacklist system. You can monetize a whitelist.
But yeah, it's that idea of that if it gives a tool to the user to just say, that page took forever. I want that website to no longer serve me all those tags.
Yeah.
So that it is more just that individual user making their choices along the way.
I think it's worth adding, Facebook is really starting to make inroads in advertising. In fact, it's actually effective, it's curated, it's customized, and it appeals to your individual needs. I haven't seen a media website, a big masthead or a small one, do that. So if it's going to encourage people to go down the Facebook route and maybe get a little bit more selective with how they deliver ads, I'm all for it.
All right, do you think it is unethical to use an ad blocking service on a company that pays their people with advertising? Let us know down below. We don't have advertising here, I don't think. We might, I don't know, who knows? Leave us a comment down below, and if you are watching this on YouTube or Facebook, please subscribe. Thanks, guys.